Moscow, watching RT International, I'm Marina Jashi. An offensive is underway in Ukraine's eastern city of Slavyansk, where police reportedly joined by members of the neo-Nazi Right Sector group are cracking down on anti-government activists. 3 people have reportedly been killed and scores injured. Meanwhile, the wave of popular unrest against the coup-appointed leadership in Kiev has now hit 10 cities. Now, these are the pictures we've recently received from Slavyansk. Members of this self-defense unit claim they were attacked by neo-Nazi radicals. The extremists opened fire, killing 1 person. And we've spoken on the phone with an activist from Slavyansk who told us that the atmosphere in the city is very tense.
This morning, I didn't manage to get to work because traffic is paralyzed as the city is sealed off. Military helicopters are flying overhead here, spreading panic among the people. I heard some shots early in the morning. It sounded like fireworks, but no fireworks take place at 9 a.m. On the TV, they have urged people to stay indoors because a security operation was launched.
Meanwhile, earlier pictures show a barricade built by protesters on the main road into the city that was set on fire as they tried to hold back special forces. And these are the pictures of armored vehicles converging on Slavyansk. A helicopter was also seen flying above Slavyansk and is thought to be carrying weapons. Journalist Graham Phillips is in Slavyansk, where he says citizens are bracing themselves for a larger scale violence.
I'm inside the barricades now, and we can see if I spin around, I'm next to the police station, which was taken by pro-Russia activists yesterday. We can see barricades all around here, and members of the Slavyansk, as they declare themselves self-defense. Here, they say they're ready to defend themselves. They're preparing for an attack coming from special forces any minute now.
Meanwhile, the leader of the Right Sector, whose members are reportedly taking an active part in attacks against the protesters in Ukraine's Russian-speaking east, has ordered a full mobilization of his forces. He says the country is in a state of war and that in such circumstances all means necessary are justified.
I order all the elements of the Right Sector to start a full mobilization and prepare for decisive actions to defend Ukraine. I call on all police and security forces to assist the Right Sector instead of stopping us. It's essential to bear in mind, at a time of war, all traitors are shot. Pacifism and talk of the need for a peaceful solution to the crisis only plays into the hands of our enemies.
Well, just to remind you, fighters from the Right Sector were at the forefront of February's bloody coup in Kiev. Its members are frank about their neo-Nazi ideology, and Right Sector leaders have been known for making controversial statements, including calls to join forces with Chechen terrorists to launch attacks on Russia and threats to blow up gas pipelines used for transit to Europe. German journalist Manny Luxenreiter, who's reported extensively on the situation in Ukraine, says they are not to be taken lightly.
We have to do with the militants, also with high professional militants in that organization. And so it's very likely that fighters, that mercenaries also from all over the world, maybe from different European countries as well as from North America, are among those Right Sector activists who are now going to those cities in eastern southern Ukraine to fight there. And we cannot expect those people, for example, to keep the law when it comes how to treat prisoners, how to treat people they imprison. We should be very much alerted about what is going on there right now.
And it's threats like these that led people to take action in the first place. And that's what RT's Maria Finoshina is finding out.
We are now inside what used to be the Donetsk regional administration and what has become recently the epicenter of anti-Kiev protests. This is where those who do not recognize the country's new authorities gather, and this is from where they declare the creation of Donetsk People's Independent Republic. This republic has its own forces aimed at protecting them. They are masked men that we can see here and there. They're mostly formed from civil volunteers, but there are also police and army defectors among them.
We defend our motherland from the fascist army that's going to kill us.
This is after what happened in the regional capital of Kharkiv. People say here that they fear the repetition of this scenario. Police there cleared in a very violent way all governmental buildings taken earlier by similar groups of protesters, detaining at least 70 of them.
I only have a stick to defend myself. They're coming armed with machine guns, and all I had yesterday, for example, was a chair leg.
Donetsk is a very large city. It's known as Ukraine's industrial capital. Around 1 million people live here, while the Donetsk region is home to the 10th part of the country's population. And today, in this building, there are representatives of almost all major cities and towns of this region, mostly mine workers and employees of the region's numerous factories and enterprises, and each region occupies its own floor in this 11-story building.
We are for social justice. The creation of our republic means drastic changes in the way our territory is organized. We are for equality of languages. We are against the oppression of the majority by the nationalist minority.
The Donetsk region sends about $470 million to Kiev and less than 150 million returns. All the mines and enterprises in Donetsk are prosperous.
Organizing the referendum over the region's status is among the key goals of the newly declared republic's authorities. Marie Vnoshnati from Donetsk, Ukraine.
Now, NATO Secretary General says he's alarmed about the escalation of the situation in eastern Ukraine and is calling on Russia to pull back its troops, including special forces from near the Ukrainian border. We spoke with an activist who says that claims of a Russian hand stirring up trouble are unfounded.
The people of the Donetsk region have risen against Kiev. The protesters are simply locals who are fed up and don't want to live in a country ruled by oligarchs and neo-Nazis. Claims that Russian agents are stirring up unrest on the ground are absurd. We're used to hearing things like that, but it's nonsense. The only new people with Russian passports here are the journalists. And just to remind you, not a single Russian official has come here to speak.